What's happening, people? Welcome to this week's episode of the Indian Doctor Podcast. Guess who's who? Because I ain't saying the introduction again. We've already been over this.
Listen.
You can point at yourself, Karan. We know who you are. It's fine.
Why are you confusing listeners, man?
I see you covered your hair today, and you're looking a bit more presentable. Because for those of you that can't see the video, Karan has put on his parka today.
Right.
And he's tidied his beard up as well.
Okay. Because, I got complaints that this doctor's not being professional, right? He's turning up with his
Who said that?
But no, I'm just saying, that's the feeling I get from you, isn't it? He's not coming up. He needs to be
Pretty much.
professional, right? So I thought, I tried to be indie, and that obviously didn't work. And, so...
It didn't work, mate.
I come here, and, Dr. Jazz is in the house. So I'll tell you another name people start calling me now at work. Are you actually a basketball fan? Dr. J? Dr. J?
Do not.
No.
Even
Listen.
Think of calling yourself Dr.
I don't
J.
call myself. I'm just saying. I met an American guy recently. He was a patient. I said, "Oh, what's your name?" I said, "Jazz." He's like, "Oh, you're Dr. Jazz." "Oh, I'm going to call you Dr. J. Dr. J's in the house." And then I was like, "I don't know who that is." And he showed me this basketball player, and I was like, "Oh, right, okay, that's pretty cool." So yeah.
Dr. J is like,
he's
oh
a
my
legend,
days,
man.
To even be given that name is like insane. For those of you that don't know,
Right.
Google him. You'll understand why. Fantastic player.
Fantastic player.
From like the 80s and 90s days, man. Brilliant guy.
And he was clearly saying that my skill as a doctor is comparable to his NBA superstar. That's what he's trying to say.
I don't think he was saying that. I just think he wanted to have something very short.
No.
Even though Jazz is short enough, he's like, let me just take it down to a single character letter, J.
Absolutely. It's clearly an American thing. And even in my primary school, I had a teacher call me Jasper. He was an American guy. He's like, "Hey, Jasper."
Jasper.
Yeah, he increased the name. I don't think he knew my name. He was like, "Hey, Jasper, can you come here, Jasper?" And I was like, "Okay, so my name's Jasper now." Back in the day, you didn't argue. You were just like, "That's my name now. You've given me the name."
No, you don't, man. People can say my name in school. They fuck it up, man. They're like,
"No,
Endeavour."
but this is a teacher, man. I'm not going to say this.
Yeah. Teachers, bro.
Right,
Teachers said the same thing. I had cover teachers who couldn't speak English properly.
Right.
He's like, Endeavour. I'm like, no. Like, Endeavour. And I kept saying it back to him. He wouldn't say it. And I was like, you know what? I'll fight this battle another day.
Introvert.
Yeah. Shut up, man. Introvert. That's a new one, I'll give you that. Fair play.
I had a builder just like probably 2 hours ago. He's in the garden and he was looking. I think he was typing my name somewhere, and he was like, "Is it Jazz or Jazz?" I said, "Listen, it's
S or Z.
It's spelled with an S, but it's said with a Z."
No, it's not. You purposely write it Jaz.
Correct. That's what I said. So it's spelled with an S. My actual name, obviously contains an S. And I said, "Look, it is Jazz, but people call me Jazz." And he was like,
"But
okay.
You spell it Jazz as well."
Yeah, no. But my actual name, obviously, what I mean, my full name, Jaskaran.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're contradicting yourself there, saying
Absolutely.
I spell it. But do you?
Absolutely. Well, full name I do, don't I?
So therefore, Garen, you're a part of the problem.
Absolutely. I'm confusing people.
Look at you, man, confusing people in society. How dare you?
Dr. J, that's my new name for this podcast, so let's go.
Dr. J. Durande, man. That means leave it, by the way. Durande, there's your statement for the week. Durande means leave it out, mate.
That could be on the mug, Siddhi Gal, so straight talking, straight point, versus...
Yeah, Durande.
Just leave it. That's a really, really good phrase. Guys, if you're not Punjabi and you want to learn a cool
I swear it's been taken already, though. I don't want to take it off someone. I'm sure it's been used already.
Right.
I'm sure that Just Rain coined it. I'm sure he did.
Potentially. Look, Just Rain is my friend, man.
And I'm sure it's on a mug already. We'll do a quick mug search afterwards of that, after the podcast.
Let's do, you know what? Let's do a poll this week, Indy. Let's just take it to the people. Durande versus Siddhi Gal. And let's just have a poll. Let's see what happens.
Fine. I'll do a poll. Can you nudge me about that after? Because I'll forget.
Absolutely, my friend. So how...
Or better yet, Shindy. Shindy is our audio listener.
Right.
Yeah. She proofreads all of our... not proofreads, she proof listens, I guess, to our podcast. To make sure that there's no audio errors, like fuck-ups. Like, we had that one with Suk a while ago.
Right.
Where I overlaid the two things and put it live, I didn't realise. But she checks it all out now and says, "Oh, there's this little, like, weird sound in the background." So Shindy, you're listening to this. Can you just sort this out and tell me about the poll, please? Thank you. Much appreciated.
There you go. Quality assurance built in. And guys, if you're listening,
100% quality
this
assurance.
is what it is. Systems and processes. You want to build a podcast that doesn't take over your whole life, then you need the right people. And we have...
Or you find an indie who will do all of it.
Yeah, right. Well, exactly. Find an indie.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you find an indie who has a super cool, super organized partner as well. And you also leverage your other... So my partner, my wife, and you get them to do the donkey work. And I
donkey work, bro.
I just-
If they hear this, you're gonna get your ass handed to you.
man, I made it very clear, listeners out there. This is the agreement that Indy and I have. I turn up and I speak, and that's it. So I
Turn
love
up
that
and you
privilege
speak
to
and that's
be
it.
in that position. So, how's the week been for you, my friend? It feels like ages since we spoke.
Bro, look at the spots on my face, man. You can make a triangle out of this thing. It's mad.
Right.
Stress.
So again, yeah, all to listeners,
Lack of sleep.
the guys who are watching this on YouTube, pause it, zoom on his face, make the Bermuda Triangle, get a pen out, connect the dots.
Bro, it's mad.
Just have
It's
fun,
actually mad.
man. Just have fun.
It's insane. Like, I've actually looked in the mirror and I've like looked and thought I could draw a perfect line across each one, and it's actually mad.
All right, here's a question.
Stress,
Here's a
man.
question
Lack
for
of
you.
sleep.
So if the triangle on your face makes an equilateral triangle, right? What's the angle between each side?
60.
Oh, look at that. Straight, sharp, excellent.
That's not difficult, bro.
Oh, well,
Relax.
look at that. I
Actually,
was
you know
thinking
what?
about it.
It's
It's maths
probably
in school,
probably
isn't it?
more isosceles, to be fair.
Oh, look at you pulling out the
Probably more
terms,
than
man. What's the
isosceles.
third type of triangle
Yeah.
called then? Come on.
Huh? What's the what type of
Isosceles, equilateral,
isosceles, equilateral, and I don't know.
scalene.
Scaling. I would never have got that. Okay.
Anyway, so apart from that, so tell us about your stress then. What's keeping you stressed?
Oh, I've got a lot of shit happening. I just always do too much, Cameron. This is the problem I have. I always take on and do too much.
Right, because you have a problem saying no, or
I think I have a problem saying no, but also it's I've tried to maximize myself during lockdown, so I don't think too much that I'm in lockdown.
oh,
Do you know what I mean?
okay.
I don't want to sit here and think like, oh, I'm in lockdown all the time. Like, let me just try and make the days go quicker. Let me just do more and more. But now it's like, okay, my face is showing spots, and I never get spots.
I can't think of the last
time.
time. Although you do your beauty products that you use for your hair and the oil, the tail means oil.
I don't have beauty products on my face. The only thing I have, and Harp Hours put me onto this. He gave me the bulldog stuff. You know, the bulldog face
another
moisturizer
range.
thing
Yeah.
You can get. I put that on. Oh, it's fantastic, man.
Mate,
I use that all
That's
the time.
what's causing you
in the shower.
spots. That's it. He's the sap.
It's not causing me spots. I've been
He
using
is
it for
the
the last 2
snake,
years.
man.
It's
He's
not that.
giving you the thing and giving you the spots.
The snake in the leaves.
The snake
snake
has
in the
given
leaves.
you the spots, right? Punjabi word, guys. Sap. Sap means snake. Sap has caused the spots. There you go.
I wish, man. I really wish I could blame him for it. That way I could get some compensation and maybe sue. But no, it's not going to happen.
Speaking about Harpal, so we had a conversation this week. Involved you, right?
By the way, context. Harpal's a friend of ours. Sorry, I
Right,
need to give
he's
that
gonna be on the
context.
pod-
By the
he's gonna be
way,
on next
he's
week's
coming
podcast.
on the podcast next week.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Him and Harnik, the two founders of Inkiller, are coming on next week. So that'll be a really good podcast, man. I'm very excited for that.
Absolutely. So yeah, I spoke to him this
Because
week.
Garen's busy again.
Yeah,
sorry.
with my sister's wedding. No big thing. Just really want to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nothing big.
no
No,
big
it's
thing.
not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
minor. It's a lockdown wedding. How big can it get, really?
Exactly, my friend. Although you say that, and that's fine. The numbers are small, but doing this stuff like today, just before our podcast, I was running internet wires around the garden. So I've run India.
Running internet wise, I've seen the size of your
So I
garden. Mate. It's a
ran
football
a
field.
100-meter Cat5 cable from our garden shed to the marquee. So the laptop's in there now. That's connected to a speaker, which Herbal dropped off a couple of days ago. And so I'm just testing some tunes.
Oh, his boombox. His boombox.
The boombox
is
used for folk
amazing,
stars,
man.
compact.
Basically, guys, imagine a massive speaker
Yep.
on wheels,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And all you've got to do, you can walk it as if it's like a mini suitcase. So it pops up like a mini suitcase and you carry it.
That's a great...
the best investment he's ever made for our Bangla team.
Absolutely.
But now all of us, when we have parties, I think one of our mates, Qatadas, has asked him for it as one in the past. And the audio on it, if you plug it in, it's so loud. It's actually mad.
So
So yeah, I'm glad everyone's getting a good wear out of it.
absolutely, and he's left the microphone as well. So I'm going to have a bit of fun with the microphone. I'm planning on the Monday, we're having like a chill event, a close family, again, obviously with the numbers, to interview my sister, to kind of be a bit like the podcast actually. So have her on stage. And then I've prepared some questions like, funniest nickname, childhood memories.
If you're going to listen to this, you don't want to give them away.
It's okay, I won't say any of them now. But
Very good.
yeah, so I'm excited to use the mic. And actually all I need to do after the podcast is set up the Wi-Fi in the tent. So we've got a little router, just setting that up. So you've got a nice little zone there.
I don't think the signal's that bad outside yours, is it? You can get like 4G and stuff, right?
Yeah, but my laptop's going to be there. That's where this made some SoundCloud playlists and stuff. So
Oh,
proper
okay.
setup, man. Got I'm the DJ within the DJ, Anyway, come back to the original point. So I spoke to her pal, right? And your name cropped up, as it always does. Your name, Sunny, he's one of our friends in Canada. Manny, he's the pineapple famous man. So listen to our old podcast and you'll hear about Manny and the pineapple. We should call him that, Manny and the pineapple. That's got a nice ring.
Manny and the
Manny
pineapple.
and the pineapple.
Like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, Manny and the pineapple. And
Except in that case, Jack would be the Beanstalk Manny, he would be the Beanstalk because he's like 6'5".
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Manny and the pineapple, and Kartar. I'm not sure if you mentioned Kartar in this podcast, but I'm sure you'll have him one day. So we were talking about how you guys recently have been on Call of Duty Warzone so much online.
Yeah,
and
all the time.
like playing, I don't know, well into the night, well into the morning. And
no, him and Sonny do. I have a cut off. I always leave about like 11. I'm like, I gotta get up. I got work in the morning.
Oh, okay, so you're a good boy. And Harpal and I were basically saying, I said, when I saw that, because he posted in the group about to watch you guys gaming or whatever, I was like, then I actually felt we are a different generation. I actually felt these nyane means kids, guys, right? Nyane, kids. Are playing games. I was like, that time is gone. Wait till these guys have responsibility. And no, actually, scrap that. Wait till they're married, and then we'll see how many games they will play.
You know what, right? You know what? It depends on your marriage on it, because there's people out there that have kids,
right,
and they still game a lot. As soon as they put the kids to bed, like I've got a couple of people in my old workplace. As soon as their kids in bed, and they got newborns, right? Like born within the last 6 months. Kids in bed, they're like, yep, this is my time. I'm going to play card. And they're on it till like about 2-3 hours straight. And I'm like, fair play, man. Fair play. You've got that agreement with your missus, yeah?
Yeah, I mean...
Or your husband, I'm not being discriminatory here, right? But if you got that agreement, fair play, man, crack on.
If anything, I think you should involve them, man. Like, I was teaching Shindy how to play Tekken. I think she did ask about COD. Like, I play Modern Warfare.
Problem is, right, COD is a very high intense thing, right? So when I joined...
If you play online... See, that's the difference. But if you play campaign...
Yeah, when you play online, it's hard, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is why actually most of the stuff I do
no holds barred.
is like multiplayer.
Campaign modes.
But the special ops where you can do like the levels and you get the juggernauts coming in.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm talking about Modern Warfare 3. That's kind of like the peak for me in terms of COD.
That was great, yeah.
The underground level in London, like that kind of stuff was awesome. But nowadays, I play a bit of Tekken sometimes. Tekken's a good one because anyone can really play. You bash the buttons a little bit if you don't know how to play.
Yeah,
a lot
true.
of people playing that.
And you hope for the best.
You hope for the best. So, yeah. So that was Harwani obviously dropped off the
when
speaker.
When playing COD, like it gets intense, man. Honestly, it gets ridiculous to the point where some of us are just getting angry at one another.
Angry at each other or other people?
But no, angry at each other.
Right.
So say like, if I'm playing with like Sunny and Kate, they're different. They tell me what to do. I just carry on.
Right. Okay.
But when I play with people from work, for example, and we're having really bad games, a couple of them are just like, fuck this, I'm going to bed. I was like, oh, are you that angry? Like, yeah, I'm done. This is shit. Game shit. And then they're back again tomorrow for the same again.
That's really intense, man.
No, but that's not bad. That's not bad. People rage
bad.
quit. Like, I've seen people rage quit, throw pads at the TV.
Rage
like, there's
quit.
loads of videos
Is that
about
a term, is it? Is that an industry term?
Rage quit is basically where if someone's losing and they're pissed off, they quit out of anger.
Right.
So say if you're playing FIFA and you're like 4-0 down, you're playing football, you're 4-0 down, you just rage quit, you just quit online and just leave.
This is like the time we played Monopoly and you got angry and you flipped up the board.
I didn't rage quit. I think
you did, man.
It was 2 a.m. and you said, I want to go to bed. I said, I want to play this out. You said, I want to go to bed.
You said you got to pay your bills and expenses, right? You got too much into the game.
I did. And I was paying my bills and expenses, but also I was confident that I could have beaten you giving me a few more hours.
Bro, life isn't going to give you a few more hours.
What do you mean life isn't going to give me a few more hours?
That's it.
Life finishes when I say it finishes.
When crunch time comes, you gotta go in, man, or you gotta fold. But rage quit. So guys, in Punjabi, there's a word for this. It's called rondi. Okay?
What, crying?
Right, no. But what's ronda? Banda, ronda. Man cries. But to do a rondi, right, it's a made up word, guys, a bit of slang. But rondi means, he's gone crying, he's gone off. So growing up, again, I was talking about Monopoly, but any kind of game, if somebody just goes off and says, I don't want to play anymore, that is an example of a rundi. And we've all done it.
I had that. I had that with my brother, but the problem was that he was so good at games that when I play, I was like, you're like 10 levels above me.
When you say games, do you mean like board games you're talking about now, or like gaming?
No, like computer games, right?
You play against each other?
And he'd be like, why don't you play me at computer games? I said, because you've scarred me so many years. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Wow.
I was like, literally, I'd just be I sit there and I'm like, I don't want to play. And he's like, if you don't play, like, I won't talk to you again. Stuff like that when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting there and I'm playing it begrudgingly. I'm getting my ass kicked and I'm like, this is not enjoyable, man. But then when I get that one victory, I cling onto it for life. I'm like, Jal, I've got my victory. I'm done now. I'm finished. I'm not playing anymore. Right. He's like, no, I need to beat you 3 more times.
Leave on a high.
No, please leave it, man. I don't want to do this. That's why I have a bit of a bad affiliation with computer games with him.
And which games would you play growing up
fun.
on the computer?
Pro Evo massively. Pro Evolution Soccer, like all of those.
Pro Evo on the computer. That's
we never.
Interesting.
He never used to play FIFA because FIFA was. It used to be shit. It used to be about Pro Evo.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then now it's about FIFA, right?
Yeah.
But Pro Evo is like it's like arcade football where you play and you can sort of run through players and do it and just like overpower them a little bit. Like there's a little bit of like fun in it. With FIFA, it's like you've got to be really technical. You've got to learn the different skills. You have to do like one-touch passing. Like some of it just doesn't make sense. Like it's more realistic, I guess, but equally it's kind of not. And it's not fun to play if you're just picking up a pad and playing it. You can't do that.
Did you guys play?
You have to properly sit and rehearse it.
You play Unreal Tournament growing up?
No, what's that?
It's like a shooting game. It's really good. Like there's. Do you remember Doom?
I never played Doom, but I
You
know
heard
about
Doom.
it. Yeah,
Okay, so it's like it was after that. There's Unreal Tournament. There was Time Splitters. These are all shooting type games.
Oh, Time Splitters was good. I really
Time
enjoyed
Splitters?
that.
Yeah.
Time Splitters is always
Time
good.
Splitters is pretty good.
When you play Time Splitters and you have the little gun and you can shoot at the screen.
Yeah.
That's good, man. That was really good.
Oh, then there was that other one you're on about. The one that remember, like when you go to Showcase Cinema, and there'd be that game, 2 people, and you can hold
Driver.
the guns. No, it's a shooting game. There's one that was House of Dead. I remember that one. And there's another one.
There's loads of these now, Karen, though.
No, but back in the day, man, when we were growing up, when you went to Showcase Cinema and you got your sweets and your popcorn before you went in,
Time Crisis.
Time Crisis, yes.
Time
what
Crisis,
a game,
that's it.
man.
Time Crisis.
I had the gun
Time
for
Crisis.
PlayStation 1. And you do the thing and you do the...
Yeah.
And the guy used to throw axes at you and used to hide.
Yeah, Time
Reload!
Crisis.
Reload!
Yeah, literally like that.
And you used to go like this and be like, reload!
Yeah.
Reload! Oh, what a game. What a game, man.
We took it so far, man.
Oh my god!
I've
I had
never
a cousin,
seen anybody ever complete
I had a
it.
cousin, right? Who, you know, when the character used to hide with the gun, he used to like go down. He used to be like, he used to hide.
Oh my god, man!
I've
I've never completed a game of Time Splitters. Oh, sorry, Time Crisis. I've never completed it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if anybody has completed it. It's probably an end.
Right. So you know, when you get older, like there's this. I found this later on, but if you go on YouTube and you just type the game and press walkthrough, you can actually see the levels being done. Like I used to do this for when I used to get stuck. I didn't know it was a thing, and then I found it. And I was like, oh, so now I can actually see what the end of a level is. Have a look at it. Time Crisis. The end is pretty cool, man.
Walkthrough guides are quality though.
Yeah.
Like they really help.
They really
which is
help.
if you're stuck on a game and you ain't got time and time is short, you don't want to keep doing it again and again. You just look at it, you're like, oh, okay, fine, that's how I do it. Cool.
I had this with.
They help massively.
What was that game? There's a game. The third one's called Chaos Theory. The second one's called Pandora's Box. Oh, it's gonna annoy me now. Xbox game.
God of War.
No. He's basically a spy in there. His name's Sam Fisher. Yeah, he's an NSA agent.
Uncharted?
No, this is gonna annoy me. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Go on, you look it
I'm
up.
gonna look it up. So Chaos.
I can't imagine you being a gamer though, because you growing up, it sounds like you were really focused on studying. And
Splinter
stuff.
Cell. Yes, one of my favorite games.
Splinter Cell. Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
Okay, yeah.
One of you don't know how many hours.
You
I
really
spent-
like tactical games,
Yeah,
don't you? I hate
yeah.
tactical games. I can't be arsed
like
with them.
you don't understand how many hours I spent in Splinter Cell. Like I do.
But how did you get time to play that and study at school and do
No,
well?
but I was fine. I do all that kind of stuff, and then my game time is my game time. Like I played Lord of the Rings. There's so much Lord of the Rings I played.
Oh man.
A lot of. But coming back to
Stop with this Lord of the Rings shit.
coming back to
God.
time. What was it called again? I just said it. You said it.
Time Crisis.
No, not Time Crisis. The Tom Clancy one.
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell, right. So coming back to Splinter Cell, you could do the level in loads of different ways. So you could do one which is like completely stealth. You don't kill anyone. You don't knock anybody out. So I do it that way. Then I do one where I just kill everybody. Then I do one where I use only a certain gun and a silencer. Then I do one where I wall mines.
It's like that with what's that game? Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that and it was like, the problem was though, the cutscenes being 4 hours used to be like, bro, this is ridiculous. I get you've got a storage to tell, but you're taking the piss now. In fact, it's probably like...
There, next to you.
I'm next to the cupboard, isn't it? Here you
Right.
go. Let's just have a look at the games I got here in the cupboard. I got Tekken.
What's this?
I got Grand Theft
PS2
Auto
or-
5. No, PS2.
PS2.
Let me get it. I've only got 2 available right now. But Tekken,
Right.
there.
What?
Tekken Hybrid.
Which Tekken?
No. Hybrid, never played it. Grand Theft Auto 5, this game has been abused so much. It's been through like 3 different consoles.
So I have an interesting
Actually,
relationship with GTA. So I played the original, I think the original version of GTA, but only ever on the computer, where it was like a bird's eye view.
Oh, that one. That was GTA 3.
That was...
Because GTA 4 was Vice City.
Okay, but the bird's eye view one on the computer was...
Yeah, the bird's eye view one was mad.
Gangster, man.
Yeah.
I used to love that. And yeah, Driver.
Actually, no. That's GTA 2 because GTA 3 was San Andreas.
Yeah, so it's before that. This is the old GTA, man.
Yeah, 2 or 1 probably.
And you do the missions and I used to love it, man. That and yeah, Driver.
Oh man.
Original Driver on PS1.
Driver was good, man.
Driver
was
was
sick.
Oh, I always used to think, you
I'll
know,
give
if
it
you
that,
look at the
it was
cover, look at the cover of Driver. It looks like Will Smith.
Bit of a stretch.
Look at it now. Go on there. Look at the cover of Driver. Driver 1. It's just a silhouette and there's 2 ears. Guys, if you're listening, have a look at it. It looks like Will Smith. I used to think it was Will Smith.
That looks nothing like Will Smith.
That looks
What
like
are
Will
you on
Smith.
about?
John, let me pull it up. Make sure we're looking at the same.
How? It's a silhouette.
Let me look at the same image.
It's a silhouette.
Driver 1. Driver 1. Let's have a look.
Some would say you're being racist.
No, it looks like Will Smith, man. Look.
It doesn't look like... How can you say a silhouette looks like someone? That doesn't make sense.
Look at the ears, okay? Will's got big ears. It's Will Smith. I'm telling you.
You're crazy, man.
Anyway.
Silhouette.
So, I hear you've had some responses about the wedding shizzle we talked about last week. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah. So the wedding stuff. The wedding stuff was funny, you know. So we're in like a bit of a... We're in a group with like other people that run podcasts, right?
Mm.
And I asked them, I said, yo, tell me your genuine thoughts on the wedding stuff. And basically the take that we had last week, for those who didn't listen, was Goran's for weddings if it's close family weddings.
Close friends.
I'm anti-weddings and I don't miss them because... Oh, I forgot to mention this. I can't eat the bloody food at weddings, innit, because of my stomach. So I'm like, yo, I can't eat the food. This just sounds like a very long-winded day for me.
Do you want to tell the listeners about...
You've already told people
about
this.
your artificial medical condition. Declare it to us.
I've already... It's not artificial, it's real.
Come on.
It's a real condition.
Tell the people...
I have...
Which test...
I have a sensitive stomach and IBS.
has shown that you have this. Tell me what positive examination finding or test
you can't... Hang on. If you're judging this based on testing...
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Just to take a step back.
Go on.
How can you test if somebody's going through mental health issues?
You absolutely can. Because there are signs and symptoms.
Yeah, there's signs and symptoms of me having IBS too. What's your point?
No, they're all in your head, mate.
It's not all in my head. Do you want to come and sit in the toilet as I light it up, right? After I go to an Indian wedding and sit on the toilet and light that shit up for a day. Yeah, you want to come and talk to me then? You want to see the artificial bloating in my stomach that turns to make me look like a pregnant woman? Like, it's not
that
the
bad.
one, bro.
Oh my god.
That bad, man. It's horrible. I have to unbutton buttons on my trousers and stuff. Like,
so, all right, let's roll with this then. I know you have a real condition, but what's your approach then? You've got to go to a wedding. Tell me the planning. What's the process for your...
You've been with me.
I know.
This, right?
I've seen it. I've taken you.
Okay, so basically, in the morning, I do one of two things. In the morning, I'll wake up. I'll have some food. I'll have some food in the car, like a bunch of snacks.
Right.
Yeah, I'll yam on those in the day, and then we'll get to the Gurdwara. Now, here's the weird thing. I'll try a samosa. Yeah, I will try one.
Explain what happens in a Sikh wedding.
So at an Indian wedding, right?
Sikh wedding.
Normally, the start of the day is Sikh wedding. Start of the day is you go to the temple. Right. In the temple, they have certain sets of... they serve a variety of food prior to the ceremony.
This is called...
Now, in that variety of food, this is called the
meeting of families.
The variety of food is you get spring rolls, samosa, you get pakore, you get all these nice little things. And you get tea. Sometimes paratha, sometimes, yeah. So you'll get all these things and you can sit there and eat it slowly. And I'm like, okay, I really like samosa. So if my grandma makes them or my mum makes them, or I get them from the sweet centre in West Brom, top notch, love it. Okay. So I'll eat a samosa. Now, depending on where it's been got from, I'm not going to go to the groom and be like, yo, where's your samosa? Like, oh yeah, happy wedding. Tell me your samosa.
Listen, I need a list of ingredients, prior to me coming to all your events.
Yeah, I need the ingredients,
I need your supplier.
What? Is this gluten-free? Is this gluten-free, bro? Yeah, right? So basically, I will sit there and have a bite, and I'm like, okay, fine. It's fine. I can eat it. I'm good. Okay. Yeah, if it's not too spicy, I'm good. Right. So I'm like, okay, I'll have that. I might have a spring roll because they don't have anything in them. And then I'll have tea. Cool. Right. Now, you'll go through the morning. You'll then have the wedding ceremony. That's done by like 1 o'clock. You then got to move to reception. Right. Then when you get to the reception, depending on how far it is, on that journey, I'll be like, I'm going to take a detour and find somewhere to eat. Right. So I will get any type of takeout food I can. Right. It might be a Subway,
Okay.
it might be a KF, it might be a Mackey's,
Right.
it might be anything I can get. I will eat that, and then afterwards we'll go to the wedding. Everyone's sitting there at a table, they're eating food. They put a plate on. I'm like, does anybody want my plate or my food? Because I'm not going to eat it. Everybody's eating food like, oh, you're not eating.
So are
you not hungry?
Is the issue spice in Indian food? Because obviously, if you're having takeaway food, there's no issue there.
The
What
issue
Yeah.
is the coloring. So
Right.
because it's all made by different suppliers, they put so much excess stuff in it that it really messes me up.
Sets you
I
off.
think it's the coloring in the food, and I don't know what exactly it is, but I just know it doesn't sit with me. And it's not just me. Like, if you talk to people after they go to like a wedding, some weddings they'll come back and they'll be like, I don't feel good. Like, my stomach feels very ropey. And some people are like, I just feel really sleepy and tired, and I have an upset tummy the next day, and it's just not comfortable. So it's really subjective to the supplier of the food on that wedding day. Some are better than others. So, and a lot of them put down wedding cards, don't they, on the table saying, yep, this is the card of our supplier. You can go and check them out. And if I see the ones that like I know, I'm like, okay, I might have like a little bit of the food, I might try it. But 9 times out of 10, I'm like, you know what, just leave it. It's been a while. I don't really want to mess it up. I've got a big day ahead on Monday. I might have a long drive home afterwards. I don't really want to be sitting there being all like uncomfortable in the driving seat.
Yeah. No, got you. And I've never thought about this
Yeah.
until right now. But what did you do in my wedding? Tell me the morning. What did you do?
What did I do on your wedding? Well, first of all, I was late
Okay.
because I came with... I haven't told you this.
Right.
I came with Guppy and Sid. We were late.
Right.
We got to the Milne outside.
Oh, okay. So you're not late then. That's fine.
Yeah. But
Oh,
we were
you
sort
mean
of
the
late,
house?
The Milne was in progress, innit?
How, did you come to?
No. We came to the Milne outside the Gurdwara.
Did you?
And
Did,
they were doing
did
the
you come to
exchanges
my
and
house
stuff.
in the morning though? Tie your paggan things.
I don't think. No, I didn't, because me and Guppy didn't need to, because we were going to tie our own bugs.
Fine. Then Sid.
So we didn't come to the house.
Sid wore pagga. I can't remember. Okay. Fine. So you got to Milne.
No. So me and Guppy tied our own,
Right.
and then Sid didn't wear a bug,
Right.
so I went with him.
Right.
I can't remember Karan, honestly, but I know that I did get food at some point because I was really hungry. And I also had Sunny as well, because Sunny was staying at mine.
Yeah.
During your wedding.
Yeah.
So I remember going to the Gurdwara. I remember having... I think we missed the Milne food and just went straight upstairs.
Okay.
Or did we go downstairs? It's all a bit of a blur.
Oh.
But at your hall, I didn't eat anything. I remember not eating anything.
Gotcha. So you would have got.
I was
some-
on fumes.
Yeah.
No. I didn't actually get time to get anything. I think I got food afterwards. Like when I got back to Birmingham.
Bloody hell! Because we went to the.
Because
Oh, wow.
because we all felt bad, we tried to get there early everywhere, and we got to the reception early. Then we were prepping for your performance early,
Yep.
so we didn't really have time to cut corners.
Plus, you came. You did the entrance, the walk-in.
Yeah, and then we stayed till the end.
Yeah. Then we went to Shindy's house.
Then we went to Shindy's house. Then we got home for like about 10:30, 11.
Yeah, it was late.
That's when I probably ate my first meal of the day. I don't know how I did it.
Respect.
But I was on fumes, man.
Respect, man.
No worries, man. And then we did it again the next day, didn't we?
Bro,
With your other
we did
reception
7 days a week, man.
on the day after. It was god. I actually kind of feel like the universe is speaking to us and saying that everything's going to balance out now, because you had this extreme 7-day extravaganza and your sister's having this really quiet one. So
You
it makes me kind
say
of
that,
be
but
inside.
we've got an event tomorrow, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So,
How are you having all these events?
bro, just got to Bande, so we haven't got the same numbers, guys. Guys listening, that just means less numbers. But we got the tent, and it's just like, well, the tent's there. It's just Kali, it's empty. Otherwise, you might as well do some stuff. So DJ Jazzy Jeff's going to be on the deck. Scratching his records. Dr. J in the house. Man, I got all the names, man.
Dr. J.
Jazzy Jeff is something I got called in my first.
You're going to give
job.
yourself all these accolades on the day, aren't you? You're going to be like, yeah, Dr. Jazz Mavi, a.k.a. Dr. J, a.k.a. Dr. Jazz Mavi, a.k.a. DJ Jazzy Jeff, a.k.a.
Indy's friend.
Karan, a.k.a. The Original Jazz, a.k.a. I'm like, a.k.a. the co-host of the Indian Doctor podcast. By now, everyone's asleep and they're like, just play the fucking song. Yeah.
Oh man. And then I'm like, are you ready? Are you? Oh, do you know what? Let's just do it now. I was going to save this till when we bought a DJ on here, but let's do it. Right, Indy, let's hear. I'm going to give you a countdown, right? 3, 2, 1. I'm going to give you a countdown in a second. I want to hear your best DJ voice, right? So, guys, if you're listening, when you go to Punjabi weddings, for some reason, all DJs, well, most DJs have this standard DJ voice. In the same way, people say, doctors have his doctor voice, which is like, are you okay? can you hear me? You know, we see.
Is that what you do?
No, not all the time. But so, I think some patients are genuinely deaf, right? And so
Yeah.
you have to increase your thing, or they just don't understand it.
That'll be me in 10 years, mate. I'm deaf.
Right? So people think we have this like standard doctor voice. DJs have the same, right? So Indy, I'm going to get you to do something when they're just like whatever they tell you random, and then listen, then do a countdown to the bride and groom cutting the cake, because that's always like. Tell me when you're ready.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Guys, listen in, put the volume up, man. You're going to get like a special, exclusive DJ
Shut up, man.
Indie.
I'm
DJ
trying to
Indie
think.
Indie K, DJ K is on the mic.
God. This could be an alternative life for me, seriously. Okay, all right. Okay.
Ready?
Tell
me you're ready.
Okay, ready.
All right,
Yeah.
so ready.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. DJ K.
You know what? I can't do it. You know why? Because my go-to voice taking the piss now is your voice.
Do it.
Right?
Go on.
So I'm
Go on,
struggling.
do it.
I'm struggling to distinguish between the Jazz Mabby voice and the DJ
Why?
voice.
Why
okay?
do you?
So hang on.
Why do you have to do Jazz Mabby voice like that? I don't understand why that would ever unique.
Because it sounds because your Jazz Mabby voice sounds like a DJ voice.
Does it?
I'm just noticing it
Does
now
it?
in my head.
I
It
don't
actually sounds
think
like
so.
a DJ
I
voice.
don't think so.
I swear to
Right,
God.
go on,
it
dude.
does.
Go on.
Oh
Come on, say
man.
something. Drop some bars. Let's go.
Hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you out there that have not attended today, we are here today to witness the ceremony of Karan and Shindy. Now, on the countdown from 5 to 1, I want to hear you guys lose it. Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. Let's go again. Right? I'm like, oh my God, man.
Oh man.
That's the voice. And you know what's fucked up, right? I know mates of mine that are DJs, East London accents, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Really hard accents. And they put this voice on and
When
I'm
they
like,
hit the mic, who
how
is
do you
that?
do that?
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you do that? You sound nothing like this. Right?
That's pretty.
Oh God.
That's pretty good, man. I love that.
It's close though, isn't it? They all sound the same. They all sound the same as well.
Ready? You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zor de Talia. Yes. DJ Bulle Bulle in the house. Oh, yes. Come on, guys. Make some noise. Brr, yeah. Brr, brr. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Why do you all sound like you come from the same place? You're dropping the same things. And then you drop this Punjabi with this weird accent like, oh, Bulle. Don't get it.
When you drop the Punjabi though, when you hear them drop the Punjabi, they drop all the accent because you can't put that in. You can't twinge that. You can't twinge it in the posh voice.
Yeah.
And you have to say like the full Punjabi tid and then you come out of it. Yeah. And it's like, ooh, that didn't sound right.
If you're from the groom side, make some noise. If you're from the bride side, make some noise. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me this week, man. It's gonna be me this week.
Oh, I can see it happening, man. You're a rebel in that shit. Going back to the original point, we spoke to the people in our little group of people who do podcasts as well that are like Indian or Desi, and the overwhelming agreement was everyone disagreed with me, saying that they miss wedding season. But then I think that the topic that really caused division was like Bhangra dancing.
Right.
And a lot of them said
this is interesting. Yeah.
They agree with not dancing because you're showing people up and it's not cool.
I don't know if it's showing people up or it's... Because they want you to do it. People want you to do it. But it's like no one's going to match you. No one's going to do it with you. So it's just a bit lonely, isn't it?
But then people who can't dance, they're like, I'm in the middle of the dance floor. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, I get that. But then when people know you're a dancer... And they have expectations. Right? They like push you in the middle.
Absolutely.
So there's one person, I'm not going to say their name, recently married into their new family, 3 weeks in as a daughter-in-law. Right. And this auntie just pushes them in and says, go on, entertain us. And we're like, wait, what? Wait, what? I'm supposed to do it. So I said to them, I start like clapping offbeat on purpose to make people think that I can't dance. Just to like, so I'll be like,
oh, balle, 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 balle. It's a good song, man.
Like really offbeat, and people are like, he dances. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Sorry, I'm retired.
I didn't make it in the team. They asked me to leave. Like I wasn't good enough.
Yeah, they asked me to leave. I retired. I have a medical condition. It's called IBS. But that's how it is, man. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. But then everyone misses weddings because of like the COVID stuff, and they didn't know that the last wedding they were going to attend would be the last wedding that they were going to attend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one really saw it coming. Even if the last wedding was like in February, it would have been like the previous summer or something.
Absolutely.
So yeah, all kind of wild, man. I get people's points.
I think a lot of it is the social element, but you know, the world is starting to open up here in the UK. I mean, today I drove down my road, and opposite the dual carriageway there is big playing fields, which normally host football tournaments, and it was just full. Playing football, and I was like, wow, it's nice, man. And Monday we know things are going to open a bit more. I know you're going. Where are you going, Indy? Monday? Tell everyone.
Oh, climbing, man! I'm well excited. Let's go. So
Indy is his other name is Spidey.
Open that shit up,
Spidey Singh. So he's going to be climbing.
If I hurt myself though, first session, which I probably will, because I'm an injury-prone kind of guy. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
See how upset I will be afterwards.
Then you'll have no more climbing ever again.
Everything banned. Climbing banned. Breathing banned. Everything.
Boris.
Banned means closed, right? Boris banned. Everything.
So guys, what we're doing, we're doing a little skit to, if you remember in the UK when lockdown came, when Boris Johnson, the original lockdown, 23rd of March 2020.
Yeah.
So what happened is after that announcement, which was confusing to a lot of people because it was like stay at home but don't stay at home, but go on the bus but don't go on the bus, work from where you can but go to work. It was really confusing. And so there's somebody did a dub to it in Punjabi, which is just really funny, and that's what we're talking about. It's a good thing about the Punjabi language. It's just it's easy to add humour to it.
It is easy to add humour on top, man, for sure.
Absolutely, but that's good. So April 12th, the world's going to open up a little bit. You're going to go climbing.
April 12th, slowly. You know what though, Karan? I'll put a bet with you. I reckon we'll be in a third lockdown come August.
Why are you gonna
third lockdown? Why are you gonna
jinx our plans in August? Like, there's no need to do that. Why would you do that?
Because I'm just thinking. John,
why are you thinking?
Let's put some money down.
Do not
yeah?
think. I don't pay you to think.
You're a doctor. Okay, you're meant to think.
I said I don't pay you to think. You just don't.
Where's your patient care? Right.
Are you okay? Can you hear me?
Oh man, yeah, I'm saying so. It's gonna be a bit. I reckon August is gonna be like third lockdown. Let's go wave 3, close it all down. I may as well build a fucking home gym at my house, man. Honestly,
right.
That's the only way I'm gonna get around this.
Why? What are you basing this on? Sorry, this theory.
I'm basing it on just. I think I'm worried that there's gonna be other strains of this virus,
which there are.
Everything's saying there's going to be other strains of it. It's going to be here forever now. It's like the flu, so we're going to have to learn to live with it, which is fine. Yeah. But then I'm just thinking other strains are starting to pop up everywhere. So Pakistan and Bangladesh have a different strain.
Okay.
They've shut that down, but it's going to still spread and get to the UK somehow. What's to say someone goes from Bangladesh to another country and then comes to England? Like, there's ways around it if you want to circumvent it. It will still spread.
Absolutely. The point isn't about can we vaccinate against every different strain? Because the answer to that is no. And the same with the flu, we vaccinate the most virulent, or the one that's going to spread the most, the one that's going to cause the most harm, or the most common each year.
The one from Australia, right? Because it's normally their winter whenever it hits our winter.
Yeah. So, but the idea is even having, the vaccines we've got at the moment, they should offer a degree of immunity irrespective of the strain. Degree, not the obviously what it's made for. It's going to offer the highest percentage. That's the thing that Prof. Chris Whitty was talking about the 80% reduction and things. But against the variants, obviously there'll be something. And the point is this: if we are reducing the amount of hospitalization, so you become infected and you're unwell, but you do not require a hospital bed, and within hospital you don't require ITU, then it's a win, man. So. Because like you said, we have to live with it. So we're not going to be in lockdowns until we don't have the virus. It's not going to happen. We're going to be in lockdowns until hospitals can cope with the amount of people that become unwell with it. That's it. I'm interested, with obviously things lifting and travel. I think that's, like you said, that's the interesting thing. Travel, when that happens and we start mixing again, does something happen? I don't know. I read something on Friday that I think the travel secretary had said Brits can start booking foreign travel, which I thought was interesting. because it's...
But there's like a certain list, isn't it? Have you seen the list? It's quite slim.
Yeah, but then again, in the same article, it mentioned that apparently France and Italy, so places that are in lockdown quite high, have been added to the green list. No, that doesn't really make sense. There are places that I'd want to go to. Like, I have seen the list. It is really slim, and it's like, I don't really want to go to these random places. And some of them are pretty far. Like, okay, Australia, that's far, man. Like, I can't go for a quick 4-day trip. Barbados, far. Can't go there either.
Yeah,
I think
Caribbean, far.
Yeah. I think some
USA,
other ones
far. The only close one that I could see was Ireland or Malta.
Oh.
Sorry, not Ireland, Iceland or Malta.
Okay, Malta I haven't been to. I'd consider going there. But generally, my kind of, if I'm doing...
But I think that Malta's like very, very typical, and it's like you naturally think, where are the top 5 people that Brits go to? So the top 5 places the Brits go to.
Benidorm.
By Brits, I mean white people.
Benidorm.
Yeah. You got Benidorm. Right. Malta is definitely on that list somewhere. Malta is there, man.
Where did they go in the thingy? In Portugal, they all go somewhere as well.
Lisbon.
No, not Lisbon. Albufeira.
Ayia Napa.
Albufeira. And that's another one, though. Yeah. Magaluf. All these places.
Magaluf.
All these Canary Islands. Places, yeah. Corfu.
Lanzarote. That's one. Yeah, I never thought of that one. Lanzarote.
You're right. These are the places here. But Malia.
You know what's mad here? I never understood how people go to the same destination year after year.
Right.
I'm like,
how do people
come
go
to the same place every
year after year, to find an Irish pub to sit on these plastic chairs that we used to use for our gardens like 50 years ago, and drink beer all day with the tops off and watch sports? Why be on holiday? It makes no sense.
Exactly. You're not absorbing anything different. All you're doing is just going to the same
they have
places.
full English.
Some people
they
go
full English. I was like, just do that.
Yeah, here. and some people go and they're like, oh, I just want home comforts. I'm like, well, we'll stay in fucking England, mate. Yeah. Like, what's the difference if you want home comforts?
In England,
it's cheaper as well.
Like we found where we went to staycation last year. There's so many nice places you can go and not really feel like...
loads, man. There's proper unknown places that you don't know exist in England. Like, there's really nice beaches in Wales that my sister's been to. And I was like, she took pictures of her and her kids there. And I was like,
where's this?
Are you sure you're in Wales? Yeah. She's like, yeah, I'm in Wales. I was like, whoa, I didn't expect this at all.
Top tip, guys, when you're booking places on Airbnb, because Indy and I did this, is actually an option to find like secluded rural location. So you can just find
that's the
places
one,
where you can escape
that's
to.
Lit.
And it is really nice. Although, second top tip is, if you're going to get there, well, when you do get there in the day when there's daylight. Otherwise, you will not be able to find your place. As we had the problem. Indy had to jump out of the car and walk around. So we had this strange brown man with his big beard walking around looking for a property. And we had I think what happened to be our neighbour. We found out afterwards, he came out with this shotgun. Can I help you? And
he didn't have a shotgun, but I was thinking he was about to grab one. He's like, "What's this brown face doing in my neighbourhood?" I'm like,
just walking around with an
eye to rob you, mate. I'm just here to stay in the Airbnb.
But
oh man,
really, really cool.
Some of the places on Airbnb, imagine, like you could just sit there and look at the different places in the pictures, and you're like, this is lush, wild. Like, how have they even managed to put all this together?
Absolutely. The level of decor, interior design,
of effort in decor and interior design.
But it's a great business.
Yeah.
It's a great business, because the markup they're making on these things, if they've got very low void rates. Plus, in between,
did you hear what? Go on.
In between, they're probably staying there themselves as well, so it's their holiday home. Plus, they can rent it out. It's a good business model, Go on.
That's a good point. I never thought of it as their own holiday home.
What were you going to say?
Did you hear what Airbnb said? They said, there's been some businesses that have been barely impacted during COVID and had really bad hardships, but we haven't done any marketing during this time, and our business has grown dramatically. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you're a household name. Airbnb is like the place you think of to go for a staycation. You don't have to do much marketing, really. Like, that's a bit of an unfair thing to say.
Absolutely, but I think there's been a big shift. Like, growing up, it was you go and stay in a hotel versus now Airbnb, speak directly with the person, although it's via Airbnb. You speak directly to the host. You get much better amenities. You can say, I want this and this. I want to check out this time. You do your own catering. It's just so much more flexibility. Like, I feel like the hotel scene I don't know. Like,
The hotel scenes, like the hotels have died badly
Yeah.
in the last like year or so. They've struggled big time. The hospitality industry's been getting shafted, but Airbnbs and stuff, I think they'll still be there for a while because it's other people's second home.
Yeah.
So they're just maintaining
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Fair enough, they might have to sell it, but if it's got the history of Airbnb on it, surely you can just inherit it and just put it back up.
I would.
So
presume
it's
so.
never going to disappear unless you gut the whole place out and knock it down.
Yeah.
But that's unlikely.
Absolutely. So yeah, restrictions are lifted now in the UK. So I am looking forward to doing some staycations again. Plus, we got the weather.
Where's the first place you want to go abroad?
Ooh, good question. We were thinking of a trip to Goa actually at the end of August, all the family. So obviously my sister's getting married, they can't honeymoon as such.
Isn't August going to be piping hot in India?
Yeah, it's more to do with mum's holiday, so she's a teacher. So it's a 6-week holiday.
Gosh, yeah.
But getting everyone together is the main thing. So maybe Goa. Next year, my mama is mum's brother. He turns 50. He wants to go to Japan. So we're thinking Japan next year.
Japan, ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Samurai. Meet the samurai. That's what's happening.
No, forget that. There was the Mario Kart land that Sanj tagged you on Facebook the other day.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, forgot about that.
That's in Japan.
Yeah, in Japan. So the bullet train, the food, we want to see the cherry blossom. Like, there's so many cool things to do, and I'm like obsessed with samurai. I don't want
Japan's on my list, man, for
Samurai
sure. So
sword.
I was thinking to go ahead with the stuff as what you said about your mum with half term and stuff.
Right.
When you have kids,
Okay.
in the future,
Right.
are you going to pull your kid out of school a week early just to not pay the premium on holidays? Because I will. I'll happily do it and pay the fine. I'm not going to get bumped by travel agents for taking holiday during the
I've
6
never thought
weeks
about
when
that.
they just literally boost their prices. They boost their prices like 200-300%
How does
just
it,
because they can.
What about your child's education?
It's 1 week off. It's not going to kill him.
Fine, yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, I guess we have to
I'm-
talk about that. Yeah,
It's just a week off, and I'm like, look, you can go like even like 2-3 days earlier just to make sure that we get there. All right, you can pay a premium on the way back, but at least you save some money. You know, I can't be doing it during the middle of summer holidays where you're on that flight and you've got like 600,000 kids on the same flight as you, just screaming.
It's
the
about
whole
the
way.
vibe, isn't it? It's like when I went to
That's not a vibe, mate. That's
I
pain.
went to Dubai 2013 and we stayed at Atlantis. I could have stayed at the other, like Jumeirah Beach and obviously Burj Al Khalifa as well.
What's Atlantis?
Atlantis is like one of the best hotels in Dubai. It's one of the, I'd say one of the most well known. It looks like a big gate.
Yeah.
Just Google it. It's really cool. But it is like a family hotel, so it's like the vibe was cool because it was just full, and you had loads of different people, different ages. It was never dead, walking around like 11 o'clock at night, just in the hotel. I mean, the complex is so big, like 12, 15 restaurants inside. It was awesome. And when we compare that to, me and my sister came home at that point. My mama and my cousin stayed on. They went to the 7-star Burj Khalifa, and they were like, "It's nice,
Ooh, yeah,
but it's
yeah.
dead." And it was just, the vibe isn't the same.
Yeah, it's very private.
Yeah, which is fine.
You
Like,
get
it's
that
a
vibe when
different,
you walk in.
thing, isn't it? But I like we went to Berlin, Berlin 2018. We stayed in a hotel called NH Mitte. NH is a Spanish brand. Definitely recommend to everybody. It's a 4-star. When we did our Italy road trip, we stayed in 4 or 5 NHs. Just excellent quality. Great breakfast. Breakfast is always my benchmark. And again, like, it's just a vibe, man. I love it when like your restaurant is full or the lobby's full. You just get that feeling, man. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to.
It is nice. I get that,
Yeah.
but then I don't want to be on a full flight with kids.
There you go again. I
Screaming
mean,
and shouting,
you're not
crying.
even married, man. You're like thinking about kids. And you think about half term.
Bro, I'm thinking
You need to
about
calm
the
down,
future,
right?
man.
You need to calm down.
Look, man, I need to think about the future and things that I'm content doing. Like, if they clip me on this and pull me up on it one day saying, "Did you do this?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I did it." And here's the fine. There you go. I'm paying it, bro.
Big man.
Leave me alone.
Bills and expenses again. Monopoly. You just learn.
Mate, bills and expenses
You
are getting
learn,
paid. I
you
don't
learn,
care.
you-
I'm not.
Then you're in.
I'm not paying a bump to a travel agent. I'm not doing it. Which, by the way, now I hope travel agents aren't going to bump their fees with everything lifting. I hope they don't take the piss.
Well, they need to incentivize travel, so I would think not. That would be my take on things. You know, there's got to be this.
But you would also think that everyone wants to go. I mean, it's how you want to judge the market, don't you? Demand is going to be really high, so you
Absolutely.
can ask for really high prices.
Absolutely.
Or you can go the opposite. You can do a discount approach and get even more business. So
Volume.
I don't know as to which way it will go.
No.
If there's any airline standing, fucking hell, man, it must be well different.
I read something the other day, coming back to a Japan point. I think one of the top Japanese airlines had done this thing because loads of parked planes, right? So they started a service where you could have dinner on the plane, right?
Isn't that normal?
No, parked plane. It's not going anywhere. So people are coming to the airport to eat dinner on a stationary plane, like a restaurant, right? And they were paying $500-600 pounds per meal. Like this is really high end, but the food was just like plain food, like in the tray and everything.
Why would you pay that much?
Yeah.
They just want the novelty of going on a plane.
Yeah, and I was just like, there's a business model for you right there.
Bro, planes are like a tube that's just recycled air. It's not great. It's not luxury either.
How are you with on the plane with food, and what do you do there?
No issues.
No issues.
I eat plain food. No issues.
That's
yeah.
cool.
I just check ahead and say, has it got nuts in it? But otherwise, I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
But if I'm coming from England, I always pack like more food in my bag anyway, like a sandwich, etc.
Right.
And I'll eat that as soon as I sit on the plane.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, I don't know when I'm going to get fed if it's a long flight. I'd rather eat that now quickly just to make sure I'm good. But I always eat
Before you fly.
not duty free.
Yeah. After you
Prior to that, I always
in.
eat there because I'm like, I want to fill up and get some nice food. Whether it's 5 a.m. in the morning or 12 o'clock at night, I'm like, I want to eat.
I think that is like a part of traveling. So when Shindy and I travel, we do our kind of.
It is, isn't it? Like I genuinely feel like I'm on holiday when I've sat there and I've had my food and I'm like, oh, now I've got to go to my gate. That's it.
Yeah. So I had this routine.
I might go and have to get some chewing gum, but that's it.
Yeah. One of those guys. So once you get through to security, you're in the departure lounge. If it's kind of like 10, 11 o'clock, Shindy and I like to have like a full English. I love doing that. Like a Weatherspoons type thing. Then I always like to go to Dixon's. I just love tech. I want to buy anything, but I just like to look at technology and feel like...
You like to look, don't you? Just touch it, be like, ooh, maybe. Do I get this pointless thing I'm never going to use again?
Yeah. Well,
I get the neck pillow?
Neck pillow. Oh my God. The neck pillow, which is like the most uncomfortable thing in the world, right? The most useful thing I bought at the airport is a headphone splitter. That was useful.
Yeah, splitter's a good, man, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So we can watch things.
But now you got Bluetooth.
No,
but then on planes they haven't got the Bluetooth thing, have they? You have to get the plug-in ones.
Yeah. So Shindy and I want to watch things. I normally, although films have content, I now normally take my iPad. I'll download loads of content, a couple of shows, a couple of films, good selection of things.
Yeah, same.
And then it's just good to go. Put the splitter in, and it's good. Like I remember we were coming back. So in Hawaii, you've got the main island. I can't remember the name now.
I know the one you're on about, yeah.
So there's the main island you fly into.
It's Honolulu.
Honolulu, good man. And then the smaller island, which is called...
Geography, baby!
Maui.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
A bit like Maui.
I want to go to Maui.
So we were in Maui, and we're flying back to Honolulu.
That was a bit of a reach.
Very Dr. J.
I'll
J.
Maui.
Maui.
I'll let it go.
And so we're just waiting outside to check in or something. And like the actual airport part to do the check-in wasn't open, so we just sat there, got the iPad out, watched some stuff. So it's always good to have a bit of content, on demand. But yeah... I do love the travel vibe, man. The gate. Oh, when the gate opens, the line to check in, right? And everybody rushes.
I go last because I'm like, look, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I've got a backpack. I can just put the backpack under my seat.
So it depends.
If I had a little carry-on suitcase, I have to queue up because you want your spot above you.
And this is the whole thing about: do you take a carry-on or do you check in your luggage, right? And this is an old argument, and I don't like. Personally, what I do, if I'm going to do the roll-on thing, I'll pay for priority boarding, so I can get on there, get my bag in, I'll sit down. But if it's just a backpack like you, there's no harm.
Yeah, if it's a backpack, I'm like, leave it. I'm just going to put it under my seat. I don't want to be in a long queue. I'd rather sit here, read a book, and then when it's time to go, fine, I'll get up and go on the plane. No one's going to be sitting in my seat, are they? Right?
And so growing up, as you know, we said in the podcast before, I went to India a lot of the times. So remember, India is like an 8-hour flight. So as I got older, we still did India, but we did more other stuff like Europe holidays, and the joy of flying somewhere and being there within like 1-2 hours. Oh, it's just bliss. It's
nice,
just bliss, isn't it? Like
you
just get on the plane
because it goes quick.
It goes
like,
so quick. I'm here now,
Uh-huh.
and then you just love it.
And when you get on the plane, you're sitting there thinking like, I'm going to do this, and this, and you end up doing like barely half of one.
Yeah.
Right, you're like, I'm landing now. Okay, fine.
you mean things to do on the plane? Yeah. Routine. Buy this magazine. I'm gonna read this. I'll read this book. Do this bit of typing. And I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen.
You do none of it. Absolutely none of it.
When you get to the other side, are you a public transport kind of guy, or have you got public transport?
Depends, doesn't it? It depends.
Public transport, taxi, or you've booked a private transfer. What kind of guy are you?
If I can, I'll hire my own car.
Okay, if it's a car place like New York, you wouldn't hire a car.
If I can, I will. Yeah. No. If it's in New York, I'm happy to jump on the public transport train, get across, or taxi. Right. I'm happy with either one. Okay. 9 times out of 10, if it's like late at night, I'm like, okay, I'll jump in a taxi because it's safer.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be fiddling around trying to figure that stuff out. If it's like mid-morning, I'm like, let's check out the transport. But then how arduous was the flight? Do I feel grimy? Do I want to go shower? Like, let me just get me to the hotel now, basically.
When you went to LA, what did you do?
Car hire straight away.
So all right, so you
Yeah,
landed, you go straight there, you
because
collect it.
yeah, I was like, yo, I want the Mustang. So I got there and I was like, give me my Mustang, right? And it was like late at night, yeah? So I'm getting in the car and I'm like, rah, this car's kind of low, you know? Like, I'm looking up at other vehicles in my car. I'm like, okay, this is low.
There's a Mustang.
And then it's obviously really powerful. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I got to get to grips with the
power.
power. So I was doing like laps. I was doing laps in the car park trying to figure out how powerful it was, yeah? Really slowly. Wrong side of the road. So I was like driving at night time and I was please, I don't want to scratch this car. I don't want to scratch this car. I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to do anything wrong. I drove like a grandma to get to the apartment, but
I know you feel
had to be done, man.
That first bit of driving when you're on the other side, even just like I remember like trying to get to the barrier to get the car out.
Yeah.
And the good thing about foreign travel I found is that most of the cars are automatics. You don't have to worry about gear sticks and that kind of stuff. So. But normally my co-pilot, which is normally Shindy, is just we have this code, like she'll say lane discipline, which is basically when I start veering to one side because we're on the other side.
You know what? It happens.
It does happen, man.
When you're in a car on the wrong side of the road and the steering wheel's on the other side, you veer because you don't notice it, and it's weird. I never thought that was a thing, but in England, it's natural, right? But over there, it's like because you're on the other side, you naturally feel like you're gonna go to the opposite side because you feel like you should be there. It's weird.
So, see, look how many things you miss with travel, man.
I miss it. Yeah, you know what? I do miss traveling.
It's just.
I do need to ask you. What's your It's Prince Philip has passed away, yeah. But I was more upset about DMX passing away. I'm not gonna lie.
Did they both pass away on the same day?
Same day. Literally passed away within. Prince Philip died like afternoon, and DMX was announced as passed away like a few hours later because he was in a vegetative state and his brain function had finished. His non-existent. I think his family just turned the machinery on.
I read the article. I think they mentioned he had a heart attack, and this is 5 days on. So, I mean, thinking about it, like, so from a medical perspective,
he had a heart attack because he overdosed.
Right.
He's got really bad addiction and drug problems. He's had them for years.
Okay, so drugs obviously can cause a heart attack. The question is, if you have such a massive heart attack that's blocking or impeding the amount of blood that goes to your brain, that's essentially causing a stroke, right? And you get what we call hypoxic brain injury. So your brain, imagine going to space without oxygen, right? So for a little while you're okay, and then you run out of oxygen, and that's it, game over. So it sounds like that's what's happened. There's not enough oxygen to the brain. The brain then basically dies, but certain parts of the brain that control your breathing and your heart beating can be alive. So that's when we can say, well, your brain dead. The higher function of your brain, so the ability to talk, think, and do stuff, is gone. But your what we call your primal function that controls these other things, autopilot.
Can that ever come back, Karan?
No. Not with current science.
Never.
No. So the vegetable state where you're talking about is where all the parts of your brain, the back of your brain, what we call the brain stem, that controls your temperature, your heart rate, the ability to breathe. Those are all autopilot things. So they can be functioning, but the higher function here, your frontal cortex, the frontal part of your brain, that if that's dead, then you could be in a machine for a long, long time. But then if there's no reversibility, that's what we look at. I don't know what the system is in America, but in UK it's very much, we're always thinking about what's the reversibility. Can we get you back to...
You can't reverse that.
No, you can't. But what my point was, before we take somebody to ITU, so critical care, then that's our question. We're only going to take you there if we think there's a chance you're going to walk away. If there isn't a chance, then we'll palliate you. We'll say, actually, there's no benefit. And so we're always thinking about benefit and what's the best.
So
that was DMX.
Yeah, man, I was proper upset, man. And I realised it more. The more I thought about it, the more I realised, he actually had subtle influences on my childhood a little bit.
It's interesting, isn't it, when people die? Because I remember when Michael Jackson died, and then obviously people get really interested in that person. They start reflecting on it, and you start thinking about it. And you start thinking about DMX, start thinking about his songs, and like you said, you start reflecting. We don't do this when somebody's alive. That kind of level of...
No, we don't, and it's like a weird thing where we don't like appreciate them because we're always distracted by other things. But it takes a major event for something to happen. Like, for example, say if you're trying to meet up with a bunch of people, and they're all friends from uni, it's hard to get them to order a line to come to something, right? But then when you die or someone dies or it's a funeral, they'll drop everything and they'll be there. And I'm like, oh, okay. So there's this emphasis put on someone dying that gets them like special like attention and treatment and time. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but everybody else's attention shifts directly to that. Nothing else matters. But I'm like, okay, it's hard to have that mentality for everything, because if you did that, then the purpose of someone dying would then shrink. It wouldn't have any importance behind it. So I understand it, but then I'm trying to think, is there ways that we're programmed as people to sort of acknowledge and accept and praise people when they're alive, even if they haven't done anything for years, like DMX did.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key word, what you said there, was acknowledgement, isn't it? And taking time to acknowledge people in a day. Like, sometimes we're at work and someone does something really good. Like, there's a junior doctor, the other day, it was his last day, he's moving on to a different ward. And he was on the phone. I remember when this guy started last year during lockdown, right? And he come from abroad. And he'd come so far, and he was on the phone, and he handled this conversation really well. And I said, you know what? I was like, your communication skills are really, really good there.
Top notch, man.
Top notch. I said, I'm really proud of you. And there's just a little bit of acknowledgement. He said, thank you, because we get busy in hospital. We don't have time to just say.
That means a lot, man. Honestly,
yeah.
To even say that to someone, they take it to heart.
Absolutely. And with the His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh, I was. It was about 12 o'clock, isn't it, when the news came out? I was sitting in my bay. I had 5 patients there. I had a lady who was here. She was in bed A1, and she just got really flustered. She started looking around, and then she pulled the curtain to the patient next to her and was like, "The Duke of Edinburgh has died." Like, she had to tell someone. I was like, "What?" And then I was there. I went on Google and I looked at it, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And obviously the news started dropping in, but all in all, 99 years old, which is very old.
He was in and out of hospital. Like, it was kind of expected.
Yeah,
you can't say it was a massive shock.
No, I guess the shock isn't the thing. If you read a lot of news articles now, they're saying that actually he himself was quite aware how unwell he was, and he'd actually made a lot of his own funeral arrangements. And I didn't know this, but from a medical perspective, he had a big heart scare a few years ago where he had a blocked artery, and the Queen at that point thought, well, this is a terminal event, he wasn't going to make it. But the thing that I was actually reflecting on was they were married for 73 years, and I was like, wow, because that actually makes me think about me and my wife, and it's like, to spend a lifetime together,
73.
Obviously it's going to end at one point, one person has to go, but you don't want to think about that. And 73 years, and they start showing the old pictures, and you think, because everyone was young once, and you see them, it's just, that's what I was reflecting on. 73 years.
Yeah, I guess I'm sad for the fact that someone's lost their partner, but then when I look at Prince Philip, I was like, you didn't do anything that really impacted my life, on it. I know it's a very personal thing to say, but it didn't affect me as much as it would someone else. The same way how DMX's death wouldn't have affected anybody else, because he didn't have an impact in their life, right?
Yeah.
So I accept it, I acknowledge it, but then if I look at somebody in that way, I'm like, okay, even when the Queen dies, right, I don't think I'll feel anything towards it. I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm like, okay, cool, because the monarchy is just there to just be there. They're not doing anything for our society. They're not changing our lives. Do you get what I mean? They're not impacting anything that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So I'm like, okay, I don't have any affiliation with you. You've not done anything for me that's benefited my people or my family or anything. So why would I feel anything towards that? Do you get what I mean?
I get your point. I guess my standpoint is, although the royal family, if you're talking about that, the monarchy doesn't directly impact my life directly. I think there was a lot of indirect impact that the monarchy does have.
Like what?
So, for example, the positioning that we have as a country, right? We're the United Kingdom, but we're perceived across the world to, as such a small island, to have tremendous power and status. And that's because of the monarchy. The monarchy are fine. They went across the world and they conquered everything, and now they're not in that same way. The Commonwealth is still there. I think we have a lot of freedom. I think we have a lot of positioning because of that. And that is afforded because of that. Directly, yes, I agree. But interesting thing, this is just on the back of what we talked about a few weeks ago about the Meghan Markle interview. So if people look up the stats, they were saying, taxpayers' money, royal family. The stats are, it's equivalent to every person in the UK paying £1. That's it. So people, obviously, there's all taxpayers' money, it's all going to the royal family and we pay for their lifestyle. In the grand scheme of things, it's £1. So I just want to put that out there, that it's not what people think, and it's like this massive.
Yeah, but £1 across how many people?
Yeah, exactly. But you as a person, is that £1? You missing £1?
No. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you could make something sound small, but when you add the number on top, the multiplier, you're like, oh, that's actually quite a lot of money.
No, it's not. It is a lot of money, but I'm saying for one person's personal burden, £1.
Yeah, personal burden for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. But then, in terms of what they've done for the country now, or for what they've done for my life over the last 29 years I've been on this planet, nothing, nada. I don't see any. I don't understand the hype behind the royal family a lot of the time. Like I look at them and I'm like, you guys are just there for tourism. Honestly, there's nothing. There is no power behind anything that you do. Fair enough. Whenever a new government is sworn in or a new prime minister is sworn in, they have to go in and they have to go and have a sit down and formal acknowledgement and get the permission. But it's just a ceremony because they don't have any power anymore. There's nothing there. It's just a formality.
They do and they don't. They do have a lot of power, but they don't exercise the power. But they don't exercise the power because then.
But they don't exercise the power because they created Parliament.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's again what Harry said in the interview. It's you exercise power, you make this kind of police state, right? And the people will revolt. That's the thing. So there's a very fine balance. They are adored by the public because there is this, sense of kind of mystery and thing. But if they were to go the other way and start imposing things, like remember that film with Johnny English? I don't know if you remember it. In Johnny English, the bad guy in there, John Malkovich, I think his name is. He plays the bad guy, and he basically talks about how much power the Queen has. Like she owns all the land. She can make the whole thing in one prison. Like he talks about all these things that she doesn't do. The power is there. She chooses not to exercise it. Historically, obviously, a lot more relevance than compared to today. But one thing I think people will appreciate, having watched the interview, is do you really envy their lives? Which, and
I don't envy their lives. No, I'm not.
Right?
I'm not jealous of it at all. I quite like having my life how it is.
Anonymity, freedom.
Yeah.
Very important things, and which when you're under the microscope all the time, you don't have your own passport or driving license. You have to surrender things. You can't attend certain things. Just not something I would.
Wild, isn't it?
That being said, there is one aspiration that I do have for my own personal life, and that is knighthood. To be knighted by the monarch is something I aspire to do.
Why?
For me, it's a benchmark. It's contribution to society. It's not that I need it to. I don't do the things I'm doing so I get knighted, but I would like that recognition because for me personally, that's something I aspire to.
I get that, but then equally, if I was to be given a knighthood, I wouldn't accept it. I'm like, I don't agree with the meaning behind it. I mean, as long as people have know that I was the person that did that good service, that's enough for me.
What do you mean?
I don't need to have MBE after my name or anything.
What do you mean you don't?
It's called Sir.
What does it stand for?
The knighthood.
No, you said I don't accept it because of what it stands for.
Because I don't need a pat on the back from somebody else to give me a formal title to acknowledge the work that I've done. I know within myself that that's enough. But also, I look back at. There's a really good book out by Satnam Sangera about colonialism and about how bad the British reign was in India, and it's wild. Like I've heard snippets of it, and I need to read the book as well. But him, Sashi Dord as well has put one out about it, and they just say you guys are never taught how bad colonialism was and how bad the British reign was. And when I look at how much they contributed towards our families in India when they were living there, how much of an impact they had on them in a negative way, it makes me feel kind of horrible. Like I'm like, if I was to be accepted by somebody who's done something like that to my family in the past, what does that mean for me? Like, am I bowing to their whim? Am I accepting and forgiving all of their transgressions in the past? Like, they still got the Goinor jewel that isn't theirs. I could name so many things that they've done that were wrong. They still haven't apologized for the massacres that happened in India. Like, all those things. And it's just like, yo, just, if you admit you fucked up, if you admit that, we can move on past it and we can let it go. But there's never been a formal acknowledgement on it. Even on the stuff that happened in 84, there was government involvement. They still redacted it. I'm like, if you just admit you did it, we can let it go and we can move past it. The fact that you're trying to sweep it under the carpet and claim it never happened is what really grinds on me a little bit. And I only noticed this growing up. And I only noticed this when I went to university and heard about colonialism was a thing. No one taught you it at school.
Why do you live in the UK? Why not live in India then?
Because I can't choose where I came to live in. But then equally, Karen, if I choose that mentality, of saying, okay, if you don't like it, then go home, well then everyone would stay wherever they went then, wouldn't they? but I choose it here now because I have a grounding here in England. I believe that I can make a difference here in England.
Right.
It's not perfect, but I can make a difference here in England, and I can build a life here.
It's not perfect. Now,
However,
I would say
doesn't mean that
compared
it's
to a
ideal.
lot of countries, again, we come back to travel, I think England as a multicultural society, right, is...
To an extent.
No, I think this personal opinion is awesome. Like, I've never, ever been subject to racism, ever, in the UK in my whole life.
You've never what,
I've
sorry?
never been subject to any racism in the UK in my whole life.
Wow, you're lucky.
Yeah,
mate.
yeah.
I've
That's what
experienced
I'm telling you.
shitloads.
That's my experience. And having been to other countries in the world, the freedom I'd say I enjoy being in the UK, being a British Punjabi Sikh, is awesome. I'd never live anywhere else.
But if you have all those privileges of being a British Punjabi Sikh, it depends on how far it gets you, doesn't it? Because if you look at what happened to Jagdar Singh Johal, right? He's a British person. He's been rendered in India. Government hasn't bailed him out. They've not done anything about it. It just said, yeah, we're aware of it. But it doesn't mean that because you have British citizenship, they're going to come and rescue you.
No, but that wasn't
you...
my point. Though. My point is that's a very specific example. We don't know all the details. So yes, we know what's been said, but I don't know what the charges are against him. Honestly, I don't know, and that's not been shared. So I'd want to know the full facts and details before coming in on that.
It's basically, I think he's been rendered, and they haven't really given him a formal charge. But the way it works in India is you can keep rolling it over. You can keep pushing a court date, pushing another date, and then essentially it's mental torture. You break him down, you make him sign a blank agreement statement that you agreed to whatever, and then they pin charges on you. That's what's tried to happen to him.
Just on a...
Now, the government's been made aware of it, but nothing's happened. Now, the whole concept of being British and it gets you all these special privileges, I don't think it does.
But again, you're
Because
talking,
if
you're
you're
talking
British
the
now...
situation of somebody being detained. Yeah, I'm just talking about normal day-to-day.
But that's one example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
that's one example. But then Brits also have a bad reputation of going abroad and fucking things up. Right? it's just how we are as people. Mainly that's because we mistreat places wherever we go. We're not the best when it comes to being calm people, are we? There's like a hooligan-esque image associated with British people. And now with Brexit as well, the privileges you had of being British and go through border checks and stuff, that's been changed. We haven't experienced it because Brexit's been agreed. We have to go abroad and then go through those checks and be like, oh, we got to stand in that queue now.
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay. This has changed. So we haven't experienced that because we've all been in lockdown. Now, all these little things that made us be proud and convenient to be British, slowly being chipped away. Slowly being chipped away. And it's like, okay, again, it's not a knock on like, if I don't live here, why shouldn't I be here? Or piss off somewhere else. That's not the point. I was born in England. I'm British. I'm here.
Right.
I'm here. What can I do to make a difference? That's my mentality behind it.
Absolutely. But I would say definitely we are privileged people. We have good lives. That's my understanding.
I totally agree. And that's because our parents came over here and they gave us this opportunity. But equally, our grandparents, I mean, I wish I could talk to my granddad about like the stuff that he saw in India. That would be really insightful growing up and what his dad saw. If he was here, I'd ask him all those questions, but I don't have that privilege. But it would be really insightful to just see how difficult it was.
Absolutely, man. It's, history is very interesting. History is interesting. It's
History's
cyclical.
always told by the winners, you notice?
It is, but obviously you can still find, and examine the facts if you want it, or you can just listen to the mainstream. Coming back to your point you said about by Jagdar Singh, it actually made me think about a film we watched recently with the family last week. You should definitely watch it. It's on Netflix, I think. It's about a guy, great cast. It's got Benedict Cumberbatch in there and Jodie Foster. It's about a guy real story, who was taken to Guantanamo Bay for like 14 years. They basically flagged him as, you were the person who recruited for 9/11. Got let out like a couple of years ago. No charges. 14, 16 years. And the film is about him and what he goes through. And he was in, I think, Jordan. He's at a family party. They come and just take him from his party, and that's it. He never sees his mom, and sadly his mom passed away whilst he was in Guantanamo.
Yeah.
And it was just... And that's still open, man. Like, Guantanamo Bay is still there, and things are happening, and people are detained without any charges. But it's the state of fear, that exists in America right now, that whole thing exists. But definitely good watch.
Yeah.
Watch it. You'll enjoy it.
What's it called?
Good question. I will tell you after the podcast. Okay.
If it's so good, you can't even memorize the name of it. Wow.
Yeah. No, but it's like one of those. It's not a mainstream film. Do you want to look it up for you?
Tell you what, if you just go into Google and type in Benedict Cumberbatch film, you'll be able to find it in it.
Guantanamo Bay film. It's called. The Mauritanian. Is it
The Mauritanian.
Yeah, it's like Mauritius, the word, but it's the Mauritanian.
Okay.
Awesome film, Netflix original.
Yo, I find it wild that you never experienced racism. You know, that's crazy.
Yeah. I think maybe once from my neighbor who happened to be Punjabi. That was weird.
Yeah.
He was like, when you have a jewel on the top, he was like, why have you got that?
So you never experienced it at school? Nothing?
No, I always got really well with people. But this is the thing, man. Like, even now...
I got on well with people too, bro. But I was subject to it no matter what.
I don't know. Like, even now, when I'm with patients, I know sometimes when they see me, this dude's got a big beard, they get a bit scared. And then they start talking. It's like, oh, he's got bands. Like, he's like us. You know, he talks about the chippy. He talks about only fools and horses. Like, you just break it. Like, and I find whether it's, like a builder who comes in, he's a bit of a lad, or, whatever. Like, I can build familiarity and rapport very quickly, and then people are just talking human to human. I don't know. Like you said, luck obviously one element of it, but I think I've just been around and been able to pick up these skills of fitting in.
Yeah, I can do the same thing. But then being in lower privileged neighborhoods as well, like in West Brom,
right,
or even in local state schools that I went to, the lack of education is real there. Like, people don't understand what it is if I'm a brown person.
Right.
They don't understand why I have my hair. Like, those changes or that level of education isn't there. So I think you've been very lucky to not experience any of that.
My primary school was a private school. There's 24 in the class. I'd say at least 10 were brown kids. So I was the only sick with terms of like hair and stuff. But we didn't. Looking back at it, a lot of my best friends in primary school were white guys. We had loads of chill, and that was fine. Secondary school into a grammar school, a lot more brown people. But again, like 96% a year, and we chilled with all the Gore, the white guys, and we chilled with all the Gale, the black guys. Like, we were just all friends. Like, there's no issue, and I think that served me well going forward into life, where it's not. I don't need to be. Although now, like, you look at most of my friend circles, yes, it's predominantly brown and Punjabi. I still have other friends, as I know you have as well. And I think it serves you well so that you're not just of one.
No, it's important because you need a balance of opinions and a balance of people around you.
Yeah.
In order to be able to develop relationships with other people. I mean, to go to the opposite spectrum, there's family members of mine that have only been to Sikh schools. And I'm like, oh, you've only been to like, my light's dying.
Okay.
Yeah, my light's dying. You've only been to Sikh schools and you've only been to like Khalsa College. And I'm like, oh, you've never actually built a relationship with somebody that's not Punjabi, so how are you going to talk to them? So I guess there's opposite spectrums, right? It's the same thing happening within our people, but then it's also happening in main society as well.
Yeah, and I always say that to people. Like, when I used to run a Sikh class at the Gurdwara, I used to teach about 5 years in uni, and a lot of the focus obviously was about Sikhi itself, so learning about Sikhism. But the other stuff was like, guys, look, you're going to go into jobs, right? And you're going to be mingling with people who aren't Sikhs. So you need to develop that skill set that you can have these conversations, because that is life. You need to get away from this caste, colour, creed, religion, and just know how to be with people. It's probably the life skill that I think is the softest skill, underrated, not talked about at all. People think you just pick it up. It's really, really important. Sorry, man, I'm burping. I had sag for lunch, and it's just coming up now. Like, I can feel the burps, and so sorry about that.
Well, hang on. If you were to get a knighthood, then just to end this out,
right. Well,
what would your name be?
Well,
Sir Dr. Jasmine.
No. The thing is, my ultimate thing is not even knighthood. It's above it. I want to be Lord. Lord Mavi is the ultimate.
Oh my days, Lord! I'm gonna call you Lord Farquaad if that happens, mate. Yeah. 100%, I'll call you Lord Farquaad.
You'll be there, man. You'll be see me on TV, and you'll be like, "That's my boy, and my boy."
If that happens, make sure you sort out the minority voices with some more representation. Yeah.
Oh, I'll
Sick.
get you on the board in it. But like, so Indy's gonna do our marketing. He's gonna do this.
I'm not doing any marketing. Bro.
Me
No, I'm not
becoming
doing
a
that.
lord, right, is gonna be like when Ali G does it in the film, and he just walks in. You're gonna be there, like just capturing everything, man.
I'll be there and I'll be like, yo, yeah, cool, great. Don't like you, don't like you, don't like you, don't like you. Do you remember what you did?
Yeah.
Like all these things. Lordships are never taken away either, are they? Like you stay a lord, you're always a lord forever. It's not like it chops and changes, like MPs. I think lords are lords forever, aren't they?
Yeah, unless they obviously do something very bad, and they're reprimanded. But
Yeah.
it's very rare. But yeah, so that's the goal, man. Right. So coming back to the title of Sir. It's normally your first name, isn't it? It's Sir and then your first name. So yeah, I'd have to have a think what that will be.
Sir Dr. Jazz, yeah.
Is that if that's what you want, then I'm sure I can.
That's not what I want, but I know you like the doctorship. I've seen you sign up emails, be like, Mr., Mrs., Ms., Doctor, tick, right?
That's right, man. You gotta earn that title, innit?
8 years of education, I don't blame you, man. I'll do the same thing.
Shallow. Good speaking.
Sorted, let's round it out there. Good chat, man.
Good chat. So,
Right, guys, if you enjoyed this, give us a shout. Talk to us about the mugs, and we'll put a poll out. Shindy, please remind me, thank you. And like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that.
do it
great,
now.
great stuff.
Come on.
Yeah,
We've
just press
told
that button,
you.
man.
What
I don't care if
What is the end goal?
you're on Spotify. Oh, don't give me this endgame chat.
No, but you know, man.
My end goal
Right,
is
go on.
my end goal game is to end goal game.
My
end goal game
is.
My end goal game is to just do this full time, man. Just talk to people, get to know them on a level, learn things about each other, develop opinions, learn new ones, learn new points of views, and just do this full time.
So, guys,
Allow my marketing
for
job,
Indy
man.
to
It's
do
not
that,
the one.
for Indy to do that, you need to come on, subscribe. Right, we need to get our viewership up. Once you get our viewership up, YouTube's gonna be like, "Yo, these guys are lit. We need to offer them something," and then that's it. You know,
Sponsor.
Lovely. See you guys next week.
Cheers. All right, take care, guys. Bye bye.